learned. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite tools. I kind of use it for everything, so I didn't think about it. So we're going to start here, and it's called Arc. It's a web browser. It's based on Chrome, so you'll be familiar with a lot of the parts of it. But I think it's kind of changed the game. I don't remember how I found it, but I was on a wait list, and all of a sudden it came up, and I started using it. I will never go back, right? So if you look at, I don't know, let's look at Firefox, or Chrome, whatever, an alternate browser, everything is kind of like horizontally oriented. I guess maybe I don't even have Firefox anymore. Firefox is taking a minute. But right, you have like all these horizontal tabs here. It is really confusing. The best shot you have is like tab grouping, or this is one tab, which is like a really old way I had of organizing things. It's really difficult to organize everything, right? This is how I used to do it. I used to have all these tabs in here, and I would once a month like go through them and fix it. Now, like Edge has tab groups, which can be somewhat helpful. You can like get it so that it collapses down into small things. But really, eh, what I've discovered is that Arc is a different primitive for organizing a web browser, right? Instead of it kind of being a free-for-all, it's organized by spaces, right? And I just think this is the natural way we actually browse. We have spaces, and there's some things that are permanent and some things that are ephemeral. Like, I think that's the way to organize things, right? So in Arc, kind of this ephemeral versus permanency is like, okay, so let's say I want to look up, I don't know, my blog, last week I learned, right? And I just want to look it up for a moment. It'll appear down here. This erases itself every 12 hours. It doesn't stay forever. And, it's a great way to just check in on things. Like, okay, I'm looking, maybe I'm Google searching, maybe I want to look up map making, the history of map making or something. And it'll take me there. And it's super easy to drop away. But there's things that I want here permanently. And you're seeing another little tool I have here called Crisp, which fixes my audio. But all right, I write every day with 750 words. That I want to be there all the time. I use Matter all the time, right? This is how I write my newsletter. I'll do a video about Matter specifically. I have, a folder here with all the stuff I need for my blog. So my podcast, my blog, Cloudflare, which is what I use, domains with DigitalOcean, and where I run my server. All this stuff is right neatly under there, disappears when I don't need it. And I have a couple other things. I have notes that I can take and look at here. So there's all kinds of things. It makes it permanent. If, I want things to be there forever, they can be there forever. And the really cool thing is, if I just swipe, I'm in a different space. This is my money space, right? I have everything I need here, and it keeps it there. And so I don't have to return to it. Previously, I would have like a Notion page for this, and with Arc, it's just super easy. And then my email, I want with me everywhere. I'm checking my email whether I'm looking at money or my last week I learned stuff. So it stays with me, so you can pin tabs up there. I mean, there's so much more this can do, but this is just the scratch of the surface, which I think is changing the primitive from all temporary, all kind of fleeting tabs that are hard to see, to spaces. Like, what are you working on, and organizing your browser in that way. So I don't know, I just have a great time with this. Then really fun. Another thing is they just make it really fun to create things. So let's say I want to start a new podcast, and I'm going to make that, my new space. And it's going to be a Halloween themed podcast, and we can make it orange. It's just freaking fun. Like, this is such a great user experience. I can make it kind of gritty like that. That's why I always do it. And then bam, I have this Halloween themed one, and let's say podcast software, I want to look that up and make that a permanent search that I always come back to, Um, it's a blast. And if I am done with this, I actually use this to manage when I'm at work, when I have a story. Each piece of work gets its own space, and then once I'm done with it, I get to delete the space, and it's super satisfying. So this is Arc. This is how I manage a lot of my life, both at work and at home. So please let me know if this is something you're interested in trying out. I'd love to walk you through it. I really get a lot out of it, and I'm happy to show people the ropes. So thank you so much for joining me. If you're not able to download it, it should be out and about now for, I think, Mac and maybe Linux, but if you have trouble, let me know. I have invites to give away. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me.